The way people search for information online has changed big time. Instead of typing SEO tips into a search engine, they're asking full questions like, what's the best way to optimize content for feature snippets? This means that the rules of SEO writing are now totally different, especially in 2025, because you're not just writing for humans anymore. You've got large language models like ChatGPT to consider now. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to write SEO content that search engines and AI tools can't ignore. Before we jump in, be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, where we deliver the most up-to-date and reliable info on all things SEO and PPC directly to you. Here's the reality. In 2025, every piece of content you write and put on the web isn't just being read by humans. It's also being read by Google's algorithms, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, all these AI tools that determine whether or not your content is worth sharing. And what's crazy is that these systems don't just read your content. They repurpose and use it to answer other people's questions when they search for info online. So if your writing isn't set up for that, you're missing out on a ton of free exposure. The good news is that writing for this new age of SEO becomes pretty simple once you figure out what they're looking for. Clear, direct answers with no beating around the bush and no fancy intros. For example, if someone asked, "What is technical SEO?" an optimized snippet would be something like this. Always remember this: readers are impatient, and AI tools will tolerate filler even less than a human will. One of the biggest mistakes I see people make all the time is writing like they're telling a story instead of answering a question. Unfortunately, you can't really get away with that in today's landscape. So you might read something like this out in the wild. This feels conversational, but it doesn't really tell you anything. It delays the point, and it doesn't really offer anything of concrete value until the reader is much further along in the article. And by that point, they may have given up and looked somewhere else for an answer. A stronger alternative would be something like this. This second version gives the answer right away, and Google loves to pull this kind of content into feature snippets. So going forward, pretend every paragraph is going to get copied and pasted somewhere else. Would it still make sense? Would it still help somebody? If not, fix it. Now here's a little behind-the-scenes knowledge. Google's feature snippets usually come from specific searches that reflect a user's search intent, so things like definitions, instructions, explanations, and even comparisons. So if someone searches for something like, "What is a canonical tag?" start your answer like this. This sentence is optimized because it directly answers the question, introduces the term, and explains its purpose, all in one self-contained thought. For instructional or how-to type questions like how to improve page speed, start off strong by listing the steps clearly from the get-go. The trick is to write your answer the same way a person would ask the question. Do you remember writing something and trying to jam in as many keywords as you possibly could into every sentence? We can ditch that moving forward. Instead of writing, "SEO is important, SEO helps rankings, use SEO best practices for SEO success," try something like this. This version introduces the main entity, references related entities, and helps machines understand how these concepts connect, so you're covering related topics without sounding like a broken record. Let's be brutally honest, most people will skim and scan an article quickly to try to get the information they need, and if they can't find it fast enough, they'll just click away. That's why structure is so important, because both machines and humans depend on structure to understand and quickly find the information that they're looking for. When creating content, use clear headings that actually tell people what's coming, bullet points for lists, like this one, tables when making comparisons, and bold text to highlight the most important information. If someone can't figure out your main points by just skimming through the content, you may need to reorganize. And guess what? All this structure helps AI tools understand your content better too, so it's a win-win. This next tip might hurt a bit, but bear with me. Enough with the fluff. Bloat is the silent killer of snippet-friendly content. All those extra words that you're writing trying to sound professional, they're actually hurting you. From an SEO perspective, this actually reduces the likelihood that your content is going to be featured in snippets or selected by LLMs because it goes completely against what we just talked about. Instead of this whole word salad, say something like this instead. The second option delivers a concrete takeaway and is clear and scannable, rather than being vague and lacking specificity. Like I mentioned earlier, people aren't just typing something simple like Best Pizza NYC into search engines anymore. They're literally asking full questions like, what's the best pizza place near me? Or asking full-bodied, long questions into ChatGPT. Your content needs to match this natural conversational style. Instead of a heading like Link Building Tips, try something like, how do I get other websites to link to mine? A heading like this is much more likely to trigger a snippet than something generic. So write like you're actually talking to somebody, because that's exactly what's happening. People are having full conversations with AI tools, and you want your content to be part of those conversations. When you're looking for information about something online, you always want to go to the experts, and you want to make sure that they can back up their claims. AI tools are no exception to this, and neither is Google. Both prioritize content that demonstrates what's called EEAT: experience, expertise, authoritativeness, and trustworthiness. This means being specific, backing up your claims, and writing with confidence. No wishy-washy language. Think of it this way. An AI assistant needs to find a paragraph or content that it can confidently give to a user. So the more polished and expertly written your content is, the more likely it's going to be selected. This is probably one of the most important takeaways from this whole video. Any paragraph you write might be the only one that a user reads from your entire article. So you have to treat every single paragraph as if it were its own product. Every single paragraph has to deliver its own value. Ask yourself, if this one paragraph were to be pulled into a chatbot, featured in a snippet, or quoted on an entirely different website, would it still make sense? Would it deliver value? If it can't stand alone and can't help somebody, then either cut it or fix it. In 2025, your content is not just competing to be ranked. It's competing to be quoted, shared, and summarized by platforms, tools, and humans alike. The mantra to guide your writing in this era should be simple: write to rank. Write to be quoted. Do this consistently, and your content will be shared, featured, and quoted way more often. It's not magic. It's just giving people and AI tools exactly what they're looking for. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and enable notifications so you don't miss out on a single one of our videos. Be sure to also visit us at searchengineland.com, where you can find tons of written articles, guides, and more that talk about everything and anything SEO and PPC. Be sure to also visit us at searchengineland.com, where you can find tons of written articles, guides, and more about anything and everything SEO and PPC. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.